Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about our favorite punching bag and otsutsuki worshipping simp Code, in particular, his self-professed love for Ada, the 19-year-old beauty that everyone in the universe has been simping over for the last 3 years. And I want to talk to you guys about why we should, at the very least, open the door for the possibility that Code might not have been fully under her effects. And there are some strong reasons to believe that while he has been under some of the effects of Ada's power, he might not have been under all of them. And in today's newest Naruto Explain video, I'm going to break down to you why there stands a good chance of this being the case. So the relationship between Code and Ada in Boruto Naruto Next Generations and Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, when you really dig down deep into it, it offers a very rich narrative interplay of mythology, symbolism, and thematic undertones. So we're going to break all this down systematically as you would expect. So Code's partial immunity to Ada's omnipotence is the first thing we have to look at. Immunity via otsutsuki DNA and the karma seal is what's been established here. So Ada's omnipotence, it manipulates desires into reality, but those with otsutsuki DNA or connections through the karma seal, they're resistant to her charm power, which is a byproduct of her omnipotence. Code has an incomplete karma seal, yet we are told in the manga it still contains the essence of Isshiki. He himself is not genetically otsutsuki, and yet he is someone who possesses the power of an otsutsuki and has something that has otsutsuki DNA. It's just not in his DNA yet. But as we've seen with Code's karma seal, we do know that the otsutsuki properties are there and that it can react with things like the claw grinds. This is why a lot of people believe that he might be partially immune to the love aspect of Ada's omnipotence. While Isshiki cannot revive through Code's karma, his essence imbues Code with a fragment of otsutsuki will, buffering him against the full brunt of her love-inducing aura. Code's obsession with Ada is something that we do have to look at and say that his feelings, they might be genuine, arising from his admiration and fixation on her, and not necessarily from the manipulation of what we saw. We did see when she first got released from the chamber, however, that Code was unable to attack her, and yet he was so certain that the feelings he felt for her were real and that they weren't a byproduct of omnipotence. This might have been a case of Code getting a tingly feeling in his loins, if you will. To be transparent, I personally think that he's been affected all the way, but again, as we'll go through here, there is an argument for this. So the vulnerability to the memory altering aspect is the next thing you have to look at. So Ada's second use of omnipotence to swap Kawaki and Boruto's identities is more directly tied to the reality manipulation than personal affection. This aspect of omnipotence, it operates universally, even affecting individuals who might have otherwise been someone you didn't think would be affected by it, like we see with Code. He has an association with false memories with Kawaki and Boruto, and it showcases that this broader power is not hindered by his partial immunity or the potential partial immunity that he might have. There are things about Ada's omnipotence, in particular the love effect, where it's not completely black and white. Classic examples, Sumire and Sarada being immune. So the next thing you have to look at here is also the Buddhist and the Shinto connections to the concept of true love. So this is where you dive into the whole karma and desire aspect. So in Buddhism, karma, it is intertwined with the cycle of samsara and is driven by attachment and desire. Code's love for Ada could be seen as an expression of genuine desire, opposed to a superficial infatuation, which is what Ada's omnipotence has basically casted with everyone in the world. And this could transcend the illusionary nature of Ada's power. His connection to Isshiki's essence, representing karmic ties, might further symbolize a profound and unshakable bond rooted in past deeds or inherent purpose. The Shinto purification aspect is next. So Ada's omnipotence, it can also parallel the concept of kagari, which is impurity in Shinto, where love manipulation introduces spiritual imbalance. Code's fragmented karma seal, it might act as a purifying barrier, preventing him from being fully tainted by Ada's enforced affection. He might have potentially been able to resist some of the love power, but still had his memory affected. It would fit the whole yin and yang aspect, especially because he's not a true otsutsuki in the sense that he does not have the DNA of an otsutsuki running through his veins, and yet he possesses otsutsuki DNA on multiple levels via what's in his karma seal and his ninja tech. Ada's Senrigan itself, the design and the powers, are the next thing we have to look at. So the symbolism in the Senrigan, it grants Ada the ability to perceive all events across time and space. This omniscience is akin to the Buddhist concept of Shinjin, which is true seeing or enlightenment, where one transcends illusions and perceives reality as it is. The Senrigan's activation might symbolize her transcendence beyond ordinary human limitations, making her a quasi-divine figure, if you will. Hence why when we first meet her, Code refers to her as the one who knows everything in this world. The design of the Senrigan, it is often depicted as a multi-layered eye. The eye itself can turn black in the back part, and it also has the moon in it as well as stars. This recalls the mandalas in Buddhist art, representing the cosmos and the interconnectedness of all things. Hence why, again, Ada is said to have knowledge of all things. This reinforces Ada's role as a potential cosmic manipulator of fate, which is very fitting because Kashin Koji said that she is a singularity of fate. The Shinto influence even goes even deeper. The Senrigan's omnipresence, it mirrors the kami, the deities in Shinto, who are believed to observe humanity's actions from a higher plane. Ada's ability to see everything may reflect the kami's role as overseers and a guardian of balance. The narrative and mythological parallels in Code's love are also next here because it also traces back to what we see in Japanese folklore. So there's an unnoticed love in Japanese folklore you have to pay attention to. So Code's unrequited love, it mirrors tales from Japanese folklore where devotion goes unnoticed or unreciprocated. In many stories, genuine love often remains invisible to the object of affection, creating a tragic but meaningful character arc. For instance, in The Legend of the Crane Wife, it involves a lover who sacrifices deeply for the beloved but is ultimately cast aside. Code's devotion to Ada, it loosely follows this thematic trajectory, foreshadowing rejection despite his sincerity in his feelings if you take him at his word that he truly loves Ada. You also get into the whole thing with the Buddhist detachment. So in Buddhism, unreciprocated love, it teaches detachment and impermanence of all things. Code's arc might explore his eventual realization that his fixation on Ada is part of his karmic burden, which he must transcend in order to evolve into being a true otsutsuki. Hence why when you read his lines very closely, he says, the next time I see you, after he's eaten a chakra fruit, he's either going to be madly in love with her or he's going to realize that he was under her control the entire time. If it's the latter, he's going to kill her. That goes back to he must transcend to evolve into a true otsutsuki. It's a realization of that fixation and his karmic burden. You also get into the puns and the narrative undertones that are there. So again, Code is a pun on computer bug. It aligns with his role as a disruptor in Ada's system of omnipotence. A bug in programming would represent an unintended error that disrupts functionality, much like how Code's genuine love might be an unanticipated anomaly in the mechanics of Ada's powers, just as we saw Sarada and Sumire are unanticipated anomalies in her power. This narrative undertone, it positions Code as both a victim and a potential counterforce to Ada's manipulation. And it also sets him up to be a very tragic character in the sense that this would be unrequited love. He sincerely loves her, but she does not believe that he does so because of how her powers work. This also goes back to Ada being a pun on Ada Lovelace. A lot of you guys ask me, why do I spell Ada's name as ADA when the English translation does it? And I tell you guys in the comment section, I'll say it here in the video. If you take the literal letters, it's EIDA, but the name itself is a pun. The same way that you do not translate Boruto's name as Bolt or Sarda's name as Salada. You recognize the pun and you don't translate Code's name as Kodo. You recognize the pun and you change the spelling accordingly. So Ada's name references Ada Lovelace, the first computer programmer. It emphasizes her role as the architect of omnipotence. Just as Ada designed algorithms, Ada also constructs realities. Code's presence as a bug suggests a flaw or a limitation in her programming, her inability to control genuine emotions like Code's love. The foreshadowing in Code's journey is very important here. So you have the chakra fruit and his goal of transforming himself into being a brand new otsutsuki. So Code's vow to consume the chakra fruit to become an otsutsuki to test his feelings. It underscores his internal conflict. Is he genuinely in love with Ada like he believes, or is he a byproduct of Ada's omnipotence like Ada and Bug said that he was? This mirrors the Buddhist journey of self-discovery and enlightenment, where one must confront their true nature of their desires. The chakra fruit and the symbolic of the divine knowledge and power, it represents Code's ultimate test. Should he succeed, it may reveal that his love transcends Ada's manipulation, while her rejection might reflect the impermanence of it all. In terms of the attachments, it's something that you have to at least go through. Rejection is also a form of narrative closure here. Ada potentially rejecting Code because, say, she loves Kawaki, or she loves Boruto, or say she finds some sugar daddy or something. It's gonna align with the trope of unreciprocated love leading to growth. Code's journey from obsession to self-realization, it parallels the Buddhist teaching of overcoming attachment and achieving liberation. In conclusion, I'll say this. Code's partial immunity to Ada's omnipotence, it highlights the nuanced interplay of genuine emotion and divine manipulation. His connection to Isshiki's essence, combined with Buddhist and Shinto symbolism, it positions him as a tragic figure whose love transcends artificial boundaries. The puns in their names, it further underscores their contrasting roles in a metaphorical program, with Code acting as an unaccounted for disruption in Ada's constructed reality. This sets the stage for a poignant conclusion to the dynamic, rooted in the themes of desire and detachment and self-realization. And I hope that by the end of this, I've at least made you change the view that you have of Code to just a teeny tiny bit, but maybe not as huge as this Naruto Explained video here on the left or this Anime Explained video on the right. So check one of those out if you haven't already.